Rolling. Welcome, guys, to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast. My name's Q Steezy, and today's new wave, Vecci.
What's up, man? What's happening, man? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you.
Yeah, boy, making a wave out here.
Trying to get like you. You got a podcast yourself, huh?
Yeah, Big Cuz TV. Yeah, me and my boy Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, Big Cuz,
It's that damn alarm. Hold on.
that's how you know it's fire.
It's 9 o'clock. I know what time it is.
9 o'clock, got to put the kids to bed.
Who? I ain't got no kid.
Good man.
I want some, though. It's coming.
But yeah, let's explain your podcast. You've had major success with it, looks like, on YouTube.
Yeah, we started out. Well, first I started out like doing interviews in 2020. I kind of always like interested in doing like journalism and shit like that.
Right.
But then I did my first interview with Knuckles the Ace. Shout out to him. He a producer out of Mobile. And I actually went to school with him and his brother.
Right.
Yeah, and his brother was an artist. But then like I locked in with I call him Gray Top.
Yes.
But Draco, that's my boy Draco. But yeah, then I started doing interviews with him.
And what type of interviews?
Just interviewing artists, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just like getting my feet wet with it. Like
Gotcha.
just trying to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? Exactly what I wanted to do. And then
I saw one with you and Deuce in a grocery store, it seems, or a gas station.
yeah, that was some content. Yeah, that
Yeah.
cause we do like different type of contents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to get him on here. Deuce going crazy.
yeah. Dude's cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Dude, and he got some industry success too. He
Yeah, it
do
seems
for-
like.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about him for the last 2 years.
Yeah, dude's
Yeah.
going crazy. Yeah, Fire Beach. Y'all should tap in with him. Any artists out there? But I was working with Great Top and with Sticky TV, and then a partner of mine, who, like I was saying, Thomas, which is because actually that's his name. I've been on him close to like 10 years, and then he reached out to interview my artist Shay,
Right.
the artist I work with, and then she was telling him like, line it up with my managers, and I ended up being her manager. So we kind of
Gotcha.
like rekindled our relationship, our friendship through that shit. And
Nice.
he was like, man, I got a platform, but he was like, man, I ain't really got the time to be doing no interviews and stuff
Right.
like that. So I was like, shit, I'm looking for a platform.
Yeah. Right.
From there, we just kind of took off and started working together.
So is it a partnership?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's I wasn't I'm one of them asshole people that be like, oh, I want to change the name and stuff like that and all that stuff. It's like, bro, you already got it established. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to get to work.
That's great.
Yeah.
But do you guys ever run into any just natural setbacks in a partnership?
No.
Really?
Because like look, bro, right out the rip, it was like, bro, he was gonna be doing production, working in camera, and I'm the journalist. Like I'm just gonna do the interviews. But then like as of in like the last 2 months, we was like, bro, we finna get onto the camera because everything was done, with us being out the camera, and we was just interviewing the art,
Right.
whoever's on the camera.
Right.
But then we was like, man, we're gonna do like a podcast type of setup, and
Right.
get on the camera.
But yeah, like I said, that's just interesting because a partnership, as Dave Ramsey puts it, is like the only ship that sinks, and it's tough to find two minds that maybe not only just think alike, but are able to think correctly alike,
Right.
But that's great that you guys have found that necessary chemistry. How long have you guys been in business with it?
I think our first one was like, I want to say 2023. It could have been 2022. I would have to look.
I think it said 3 years ago on YouTube.
Yeah, if it said 3 years ago, then yeah, it was 2022. And then we kind of stopped for a second, and then just picked back up and started kicking and getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of content lined up and getting ready to drop and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, what's the typical rollout and promotion like for that?
Really and truly, on our side of like the business side, of course we're gonna promote our platform and stuff
Right.
like that. So, typically I just like getting content, putting it on social media,
Right.
kind of see what the feeling is. I kind of study who I'm interviewing before I get into it with
And
them.
how long do you typically spend doing that?
Um, I mean, most people I interview ain't really got like a huge life story like that. So it's like
Right.
it don't take nothing to listen to their discography if
Right.
it's an artist, or check out any content or
Right.
movies that they made. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And then maybe make a week or two.
Right.
But I kind of plan my interviews out for like a month so I can get like set my
Really?
questions up and just do all the all the research I can. I mean, learning their nicknames, like, or
Right.
whether they change their name, like anything I can find on them.
Nice,
saying?
man. Nice. Have you ever had an artist that stumped you?
What you mean?
That
Like
me-
backed out on me or something?
no. Like maybe you couldn't find enough information on them, or yeah, like I had PB Pluto in here, and it was too much information for me to be able to research. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I say like when I was working with Sticky TV, like I kind of was just like doing those interviews off the top of my head and like wasn't even doing no research.
Gotcha.
But then like,
And sometimes those are the best because anybody can do an interview, but to have a normal conversation, that takes some skills.
yeah. But nobody ever really stumped me where I just couldn't like find something that I
Right.
can make the interview worthwhile.
Right.
Right. Everybody got a story to tell, so you know what I'm saying. Like,
Exactly.
If you ask the right questions, everything will pan out.
Nice.
Trust my brother, I can't trust my cousin. No, let me take my time. I want every girl like I can't make my mind. I spent 80,000 just to flood the time. I don't wear no hangs, my t-shirt Saint Laurent. I just made a whole bag from like half of a show.
Huncho Fest, the South's fastest growing recurring event, a music festival highlighting independent artists from all over the country. Any artists that want to sign up and perform, all you have to do is DM NMBGJAY on Instagram and he'll negotiate a slot for you. Tickets will be $10 at the door, and there will be a giveaway which includes a Gulf Coast music interview or free performance at an upcoming event, all sponsored. And how many of those have you done so far?
Interview?
Right.
I don't know, probably about at 10.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably about at 10.
Nice.
Like, it ain't been a lot. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Because like
quality over quantity.
yeah. I ain't too keen to just work with anybody and just jump at any type of content just because it's content.
Right.
I kind of like wanted to make sense.
Was there anything you did to build Big Cuz TV up so far? Because the numbers that you put up on YouTube are really
Advertising, bro.
what type of advertising?
Like Google ads. You
Google
know what I'm
ads.
saying? Yeah. Well, people actually have to engage with it
Right.
over doing like
What type of
those
ads
fakes-
specifically?
like, cause you can get like fake views out of like
And unfortunately, yeah.
on like out of a lot of bullshit, but just Google ads and stuff like that and YouTube ads.
Yeah.
But no, not for real. I've did like for my artists and stuff like that. I done did like Facebook, boosting posters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That shit, it works if you know where you targeting. Like you got to know the demographic you need to target to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just don't run it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Just target to where they. If you look at the analytics of where they, traffic coming from, that's where you need to be targeting at.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing it just
Willy-nilly. Yeah.
Yeah. Promoting in South Dakota, there ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know nobody out there. Like just look at their top 4. Just look at your top 4 viewers, and just go from there.
Yeah. But you've had more success with the YouTube ads.
Yeah. Good. No, well, yeah. YouTube and Google.
Right. Google,
yeah,
right.
like the social media, that shit's tricky. Like the social media ads, that shit really tricky.
Absolutely. What's explain your role in the Mobile music scene?
I'm still finding that, but
yeah,
I started out like dealing with music like all my life for real. Like I just around uncles, cousins that had record labels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were street entrepreneurs. But yeah, they had record labels, they had studios. I was always around it. But then like I used to want to be an artist, and a particular artist that my brother was investing in about 11, 12 years ago. Now it's 2025, 14 years ago, bro. Like shit. But he
LL Cool J.
nah, nah, he took him on a show to Baton Rouge, and that's kind of like where I was like, yo, I like the behind the scenes working shit like more than I actually like being an artist. I don't know why. I always liked handling business.
Yeah.
So then from now I kind of started dealing with our homeboys that's from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? That's why when he was talking about New Orleans, yeah. But from now I kind of did it off and on throughout the 2010s.
Right.
2020 came and I found the artist and kind of like started locking in with him. But I don't have a specific role out here. I kind of like working and engaging with anything I can kind of learn from and whatever. But I know that like the other day you joked like you like the Godfather out here, but it's like I genuinely do help a lot of people and then do whatever I can do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I just love to learn. You know what I'm saying? I just love to work and learn.
I'm glad you peeped that.
Yeah. I really like just working and learning for real. So I'm kind of still finding my way as far as like my specific role.
To touch on that point that you made about enjoying the business aspect more than the music side, I've come to realize that as well, just with this podcast and just interviewing people that are also in that business facet of the music industry, that there's definitely an avenue for it. Yeah. And because it's kind of unknown and a little unpopular, it's wider open than the avenue for becoming an artist, which is really slim because it's more popular and you get the attention from it and all that. And finding a career in the business side of music, especially if you're a business-minded person. I mean, I've had so much fun just with this,
Yeah, myself, bro, I've always been book smart.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as people, I don't know, kind of don't show that side of themselves, I've always, all my life, like, let people know, like, I ain't no dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really know business and stuff like that. And from there, like, I used to clean crime scenes. I used to run a company.
Really?
And shit like that. And
what was that like?
What, cleaning crime scenes? That shit was kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie. It gets sad at times, depending on what you're doing. Like,
shoot, yeah. I bet.
If you don't know the story and you just going there and work, it's work to me. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you get a backstory.
It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that shit kind of. But
would you ever have to like clean up after like a bank robbery?
No, the worst shit I did that fuck with me.
You don't have to speak on it if you don't want to.
Nah, I'm gonna speak on it. I mean, it ain't that too emotional, okay. But the worst shit I did was a suicide, and I had to break down a car, like the whole interior of the car, where 3 teenagers got shot up in.
Oh damn, bro! I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, like that shit fuck with me.
Oh gosh, man. Was it in Mobile?
It was in Mobile. I'm born and raised here. Yeah, it's in Mobile. But the car was out of Pensacola, so it wasn't something. It wasn't a news story that I knew about, anything like that.
Right.
But my boss, like at the time, he told me, I was like, "What happened?" He was like,
"Oh,
bro, this happened." I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how could y'all do that?" To
me? What goes into like when you clean a crime scene, besides just the action of cleaning it? Do you like have to prepare for it a couple weeks in advance, or not a couple weeks? I mean, you got to get in there within the right amount of time. But like, what's the preparation going into that?
So like, what people don't know, like in that type of work, you gotta start from the ceiling to down. So you start from the top of anything you're doing it in and go all the way down, all the way to the floor. So you don't miss nothing. You know, every wall from the ceiling to the floor. And so it's no, and then answer what you was just saying about a specific time. Like sometimes you might clean up some shit that's been out weeks.
Really?
Yeah, and sometimes you might get it fresh that day. Well, it's a little easier if it's fresh blood. Not to be funny or nothing like that, but you know, once that hemoglobin in that blood and stuff start extracting and stuff like that, that smell and oh my god, like
Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I ever had to do was a suicide.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well, anyway, back to the music
yeah.
topic. Yeah, your role in the Mobile music scene. Um, how would you explain that briefly?
Um, I guess like, bro, I guess I would say I'm a manager. You know what I'm saying? But that's about the best way I can sum it up. Like I'm a manager, but at the same time, it's more like that's 6 different type of managers when an artist needs.
Six different types.
Yeah, a business manager, production manager, technical manager, road manager, personal manager, and what's the last one? I have to look at my phone, but
A female manager.
no, technical, road manager, production, personal, business, and there's one more. But this is shit I started learning, um, just getting into it because I learned this shit. I got introduced to the management side of it, like I say, dealing with my brother. But he had something going on one time. Well, some people out of Atlanta was trying to sell him like a pre-recorded like Gucci Man verse and shit like that, and with the beat and stuff. And he was like, I don't understand. He just was real. He was like, I don't understand this shit. Like, this contract or whatever. Read over this shit. And then I started reading over and I'm like, what else you got? You know what I'm saying? What else? Like, and from now, learning like the videos we had on YouTube a while, from years ago, no ownership to them, revenue we was missing out,
Right.
it was just a bunch of stuff to where I started getting into like where's the money at in the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was kind of how my inquiring mind started me out in it. It's like where's the money at?
That definitely gets the best of me. Like sorting through all that money. I mean, you have to like set aside a lot of time just to bear down and get to the roots of the money in the music industry that you might have been missing out on in making your own music or accounting for somebody else's music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That independent, like people love screaming and shit like that independent shit, and it's like depending on an artist's situation, um, sometimes it's best to have that machine behind them.
I think so. Yeah.
And sometimes if you have the right people on your team that y'all develop a relationship with, and built this thing up together, then y'all stick it out. You know what I'm saying? Making sure you own everything, making sure you got your masters. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of where you want to be at with if you're gonna do independent.
If you're independent, you better be on your stuff.
Yeah, like
because it's so many things to be on your stuff. To be on. How closely do you abide by the $1 million morning routine?
What you mean?
Waking up at 5:30.
Well, but I mean, right now, right now I run a crew where I do government phones. I'm not ashamed of my work.
Government phones?
Yeah, like people that get like government benefits.
Oh, I see.
They get a free phone.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I work from Pensacola to Gulfport, so I'm kind of covering that Gulf Coast area.
Right.
And no pun intended, but being a boss, like learning that shit at like 25, 26. Once I started running my own crew, doing like I was telling you, doing with the crime scene thing. We did many other avenues of work too, but just learning that shit of like getting up early, you know what I'm saying? It's discipline, dude. Like that shit is some real discipline, and it's tough, especially. I'll say it's more easier now for me, but especially when I was in my 20s, it's like, bro, I want to go out. I want to get drunk. You know what I'm saying? I want to go party and shit like that. And then you got to sacrifice and get your ass up at 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? It's 5:30 to making sure you getting the most out of your day and being productive. So I think that's very important. But me, some days I do slip and sleep in because I work for myself. So
right.
Yeah. So
man, this whole since the start of 2025, I've like woken up at 8 a.m. Like every day, and that's uncharacteristic of me. But just with these podcasts being later in the evening and just a different schedule. I wonder if it has that drastic of an effect. Like starting a day off later, you still have the same 16, 17 hours. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it just depends on how you use it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's about how you utilize your time. It's not really, you know. I mean, you can bullshit for 16 hours, or you can
Right. Like you wake up
utilize
at
it and
6
get.
a.m. and still just bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Right,
Right.
right, right, right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time you're waking up. It's really what you're doing
Right.
after you get up. Like I never forget in high school. Shout out to Theodore. I graduated from Murphy, but I went to Theodore. They had a sign up in the office that said, "Success is waking up in the morning and going to bed at night, and in between doing it whatever you want to." And I was like, that shit always stuck with me. I was like, oh shit, this kind of is the goal in life, like
Yeah.
to be able to do what the fuck you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think discipline is something that a lot of people lack, but you know, for the ones that do get the most done in 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, like my hats off to them because that shit's very tough to have some discipline and when your homeboys calling you, hey man, we finna smoke, drink, and
Right.
party and shit like that. Like sometimes you gotta be like, nah, bro, I gotta go home. I gotta get on this computer. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go have this meeting. I gotta go do an interview. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think discipline is just what a lot of people lack as far as like in terms of them getting to a point that they're trying to reach. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about like starting too early and then getting burned out, like in life, in terms of having that discipline? Then you're like, man, I kind of lost my college years.
Man, fuck that shit. You'll sleep when you die.
Fair enough.
Like fuck that shit, bro. Burnt out. What is that? You know what I'm saying? What is
Right.
that when you talking about? Now, granted, depending on it depends on your lifestyle. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Because if you poison your body all day, smoking, drinking, and then trying to also crunch in a bunch of stuff, of course anybody gonna get burnt out. But like if you eating healthy, you know what I'm saying, getting your little workout here and now, and then being aware of your mental. Because I
Right.
think that's a big part that people miss is like your mental state. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Making sure you're not burning yourself out with a bunch of other people's problems because
Yeah.
everybody got their own problems.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, man. Accounting for yourself and then being able to account for others is a
yeah. I think one of the biggest things you can do for anybody, family and friends, is number one, take care of yourself.
yeah.
So you can be there for them.
Yeah,
know
you
what
can't love others if you don't love yourself.
I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
Along with other traits. Did you tour Stacks when you were in Memphis?
Yes.
How was that? Because I toured as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
How you know I went to Memphis? Oh yeah, you seen my pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, how you fucking know? But yeah, I went to Stax Museum, man. That's a lot of history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Learning shit. You hear certain songs.
I've been
growing up.
listening to Otis Redding every day since.
For real.
No, that was definitely like a week after that where I was just like, this dude's, greatest ever.
Yeah, bro. I can't think of them brothers. Was it Sam and something? But they were some bad motherfuckers too, bro.
Yeah, no, it's music, you kind of, with how production is nowadays and technology and just how society's just kind of advanced, you're like, music's never been this good. But then you kind of see just how like vintage that stuff is.
Yeah,
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 there's an argument to be made that it was better back then.
yeah. Exactly, bro. I have a debate all the time about like '90s hip hop and anything that's after. You know what I'm saying, with my older partners and stuff like that. But I mean, Memphis is a historical music place anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I loved it over there. I mean, it was so pretty and it felt European.
Yeah.
I
never been to Europe, so I don't even know.
But just like the vibe of European is like, things are just lively. Like there's that street. I forget what it was called. It might have been Beale Street.
Yeah.
Where it's just like everything's open. There's it's similar to how Mobile is in some spots, but it was like the city. It's like New Orleans is considered European because it's like people just have that just breathtaking energy. Just like they're trying to enjoy the nature and culture aspects of it.
Yeah,
You know,
the Southern hospitality is like,
so yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah,
coincides with that.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, Memphis, bro, that's a dope ass spot,
Right.
and the Stacks Museum was just, yeah, I enjoyed it. Isaac, you been there before, right? The Stacks
Yes.
Museum, yeah,
Yeah.
like Isaac Hayes' car and shit like
Right.
that, like his office and like looking at all that stuff is like, you know, um, I I tell you like how we learn about certain rappers and hip hop artists and we have to be label mates. To learn that like all of those people were label mates back in the day was like mind
And what
blowing
is
to
a
me.
label, mate?
Like just being signed to the same label. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like dude, look at the history of fucking Motown. The
right.
Temptations, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Jackson 5, like all those people that was under one roof at one point in time was like crazy.
Right.
Smokey Robinson, you know what I'm saying? These
You think it
people,
was
that
because there weren't as many labels?
uh, probably. I mean, that's one equation of it.
Also, there weren't as many people doing music. I think there was a higher barrier to get into music. Absolutely. I mean, nowadays it takes nothing to get into music.
Mm, yeah, I don't think like unless you were signed to a label back in, it wasn't really an independent thing going on unless you was just some live band performing.
You had to be a part of a label.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, kind of in a sense to be somebody. I guess you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man. But yeah, that Stax Museum was like, I mean, the production equipment that they had in there, just doing that whole full circle and reading about the different eras of the soul music, and yeah, I had a great time.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it too. I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned during your time in the game of music? You can
Staying focused.
staying focused.
Yeah, staying focused, bro. Like it's so easy. I say from like 2020 to 2022. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I tell people all the time, bro. I was showing up to so many events and just trying to network and stuff like that. But it got to a point to where, dude, I didn't know if I was doing business or partying. Like I was literally at so many
Really?
functions and things that's going on to
Right.
where it's like, you know, it became like,
You
did
were,
I have to go there that night? You know what I'm saying? It was like one of
Yeah.
the situations like, dude, did I even network while I was in there? You know what I'm saying? Like, just getting so used to going
yeah.
instead of like taking those few nights to go home and kind of do a little bit more research, kind of learn something that, or follow up on a
Yeah.
contact,
I went to the Soul Kitchen concert for Real Boston Richie,
I was supposed to be in there that night, man.
in an attempt to somehow wrangle him in here, but it was a far shot. I got a conversation with him and his team, and I was like, yeah, it'll be 20 minutes, and it was like 1:30 a.m. I was like, just 20 minutes. We're right down the street, and they just looked at me like any other, which I can't blame them. They're busy, and it was late at night. But anyway, I got some other context as well, but man, that place, they just
Shit was lit one.
it was different. It was lit for sure, but like it was lighter lit. Like it was a lot of substance going on in there.
Right.
Nobody seemed to care less about it. And I don't smoke weed much myself. I don't have any problem with it. I mean, I used to record at Blue Magic.
I
I'll probably
don't smoke weed at all.
yeah. But that place was from wall to wall, just yeah.
Lit. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I guess there's like, not to be fine. I guess like drugs and like, like look at Woodstock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the amount of people that was on acid and cocaine and shit like that. I guess drugs and like concerts is just things that go hand in hand, bro.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That energy.
Yeah.
So I know, but the weed, yeah, that shit's gonna be there. That shit's gonna be
Oh
there.
yeah, it's just part of the music culture.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny, man. It was a great time though, and it was also so cool just how like, maybe it's just a Soul Kitchen Mobile thing that they're able to bring in like a mega artist that Boston Richie's in California doing Rolling Loud right now in front of maybe 10,000, 20,000 people, and that's exaggeration, but he's up there on stage. I guarantee none of those guys are able to talk to him, interact with him. But Soul Kitchen, it's like he's just performing in front of his family.
Right. I was enough for that Soldier Boy when Soldier Boy came out.
When was that?
Huh?
When was that?
That was last year, wasn't it? I'm not. I think it was last year.
That's crazy, man. Soldier Boy in Alabama is insane.
Yeah, bro. Like
Soulja
you gotta understand.
Boy,
I think he might be
bro.
about a year older than me, dude. When he came out,
Watch me crank it. Watch me,
bro. When he came out in 2007, I was 16, and
Soldier Boy, bro.
in that period of time, like the Romeos, the Bow Wows, like just because I grew up around older people and stuff, like listening to
Right.
like that old hip hop and shit like that. Like when I was young, I used to be like, man, them motherfucking lame. You know what I'm saying? That shit.
Soldier Boy was lame.
Well, I'm gonna say yeah, he was an exception because like now that I look back, he was like one of the
Pioneer.
well, now I'm just
Soldier
not
Boy's
that,
the first to do everything.
right, right. But now he that was one of them songs that I noticed looking back that like grew on me.
Right.
And then before you know it, I'm doing the dance, and you know what I'm saying, and we kids just like him, like it's fun, you know what I'm saying. But at the time, like when he first come out,
in
he
my
was like,
car.
yeah, like Wayne was my favorite rapper, so it's like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, like,
Right.
But then he started just coming with hits, you know what I'm saying. So it's like I ain't finna lie to nobody and be like, if I once playing Kiss Me Through the phone with my chick on the like, come on, bro, that's my high school years, so yeah. But Soldier, that shit was lit. But then, like I say, to get older and be in my 30s and see him is like, I'm big on history. You know what I'm saying? And I like seeing, like, taking advantage of watching something that's like kind of like once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
There ain't gonna be another Soldier Boy. And then, so I just summed up the energy that night, and it's just like, bro, this is somebody I grew up on, but also the fact that he right here in front of me doing a dance that went so fucking viral.
Yeah.
Because there's like, it wasn't many things, and like I ain't really old, bro, but the 15, 16-year difference in social media and YouTube is like mind blowing because like it wasn't a lot of things that was viral back then, so like that was one of the things that took the world by storm like really quick. So that shit was dope to see him, like, I don't give a fuck how old I was, like to see him actually do the dance and then be there doing the dance and people showing up how he used to dress. That shit was dope. I was like, hell yeah.
The Unks came out for Soldier Boy's concert.
Boy, what? Look at, boy, that shit was lit. That shit was lit. I don't give a fuck how old them songs was, and some of the new shit that I made, did know or didn't know. Rick and Morty, like, you know what I'm saying? Shit he was doing, like,
he did that at Soul Kitchen.
Yeah. Boy, look at him. Boy, what? Man, you better stop playing Big Draco. For real.
That's funny, man.
Soldier lit though.
Yeah, I bet he is, man. Well, what's next for you, Vecci?
Me, man, working on my platform for real, and then doing a lot of connection. Like I told you about certain artists I'm gonna start plugging you in with, and stuff like that. But I just locked in with some people out of the DMV.
Nice.
So like
Nino Paid?
Huh?
Nino Paid?
I don't even know who that is.
Nino Paid?
No.
He's like the biggest artist out the DMV right now.
Man, you finna put me on?
Oh no! I mean, if you can get him, it's like he's like on a little baby run right now.
Yeah, I mean, put me on his music, bro.
I
love music.
I'll put you on for sure.
Like outside of this, but I'm gonna say like when I was young, I started a quest. I want to hear every song at least one time in my lifetime.
Every song
ever made, I want to hear.
Impossible.
I know it's impossible.
Yeah,
but it's something I'm trying to do.
Yeah. No,
it's just that's my own little.
I really
thing.
respect that.
Yeah, bro. Like for real, I love listening to music. Like I love it. But yeah, I'm locked in with Corleone Records and Marie Walden. Well, we about to start doing some things with media. A bunch of media platforms about to start getting together and helping these artists network. Because just as well, like I say, I work with an artist. It's difficult sometimes to like find platforms outside of the city. You know what I'm saying, to
Right.
get media done, because a lot of people, a lot of artists don't really know about, like, I'm not gonna say they don't know, but they're not really educated to the degree of how to get themselves into different regions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I kind of a few months ago was like, man, I'm finna start a media run for my artists and the artists I'm working with and stuff like that. And then I started looking up, like, I found like maybe 200 or 300 fucking podcasts and shit like that, and started just contact. I mean, I ran into a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like people that was bullshitting, they wanted too much money, or just, and not to say like they're not worth it, but it's just like for the artists, you know what I'm saying? You dealing with in their budgets, like, bro, they really ain't in their budget like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No diss to them or nothing like that. But and especially you don't know really know the outcome of paying that money and getting on that platform. It could just be another
Hustle.
Yeah, it could be another piece of content that just
Floats in the wind.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I locked in with them, and we about to go up there for Bike Week on 420.
Nice.
And
a lot of stuff happens on 420.
Yeah, most definitely does. But yeah, I'm finna lock in with just the artist that's on their label, as well as bring some artists up there to get some work done.
Is weed legal in the DMV?
I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure. I know West Virginia it is, and I think DC it is. But as far as recreational, I don't think there's a lot of recreational states. I know a lot of states are medicinal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm that's about my next moves. Trying to get a lot of content done and a lot of networking done. And sometime this summer, we're planning on doing like an industry mixer thing in Atlanta. And I want to, I'm gonna invite you and a couple more platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, y'all come up. Gonna put as many media platforms as we can in the building. Let these artists come in and start getting some media done, bro. You know
I'm going to Atlanta this weekend. I got to know where to go.
I'm not too familiar with Atlanta as far as like rent. I have family members up there. Let me not say that. My brother, his dad is from Atlanta.
Right.
So we used to be up in Atlanta a lot. But I don't know that city. That's a big ass city. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't tell you what Adamsville is and all that shit they started naming College Park. I don't know. I don't know none of that shit. The only thing I know I ever rode down was Bowden Crest and Bankhead.
Right.
I saw what like Gucci Mane said he used to hustle and shit like that. And Bankhead, where everybody, kind of like from in the last 10 years, I guess. Or like, I saw Cleveland Ave.
Glenwood Drive.
What's that?
I think that's where 21 Savage is from. Yeah.
Cleveland. I know Young Thug talks about that.
I rode through Zone 6 one time. Bad move.
Bad move.
Yeah, I was at Morehouse for a track meet, and my buddy and I got on like electric scooters because we wanted to just drive around Atlanta. We just didn't know where we were, and just went straight through Zone 6.
Bruh, I've been to some rough ass, man, and like across America, bro. I've been to some rough ass parts of towns, and I think it's just your approach.
Maybe so, but like there were definitely some really sketchy moments in that scooter ride.
Yeah, you know what? I say this. Depending on what time of day it is, it's just certain places you just don't want to get caught at.
It was muggy, man. It was like pouring down rain, and it just like there was a brief break. But yeah. Anyway, it was glad I'm right here right now.
Was that a hell of an experience?
It was.
But this shit was fun though. It's a memory. You know what I'm saying?
It was fun. We got all the way to the Atlanta football stadium, and then there was a guy that had no teeth that was working at the track meet. He had no teeth. Crackhead energy, and he was just like he kind of yelled something at us as we were riding on scooters, and we were just like, whatever. We just kept riding, and apparently he's from the area that we had ridden through, and he the story goes that he like said something to the people in Zone 6 and Zone 5, I guess, that not to do anything to us. Maybe he said like there were certain parts that they could have jumped us at because there were people that like hung out there, and we were really thankful that he had done that. And but anyway, we got to the Atlanta Falcons football stadium, and we were trying to get in, and then our track coach like called us and was like, "Get back here," because like the coach had told our track coach that we had gone off. He's like, "Where y'all at?" And then
get your ass back here, bro.
yeah, we're actually using the bathroom.
My brother and them when we was teenager, bro. This is like early 2000s. My brother and them decided from listening to a Lil Wayne record that they was gonna go to Holly Grove.
Oh my god!
So so they get off.
What are we thinking?
Yeah, so
What
they
are
get
we
off the
thinking?
fucking exit,
Oh my god!
and I can't think of what.
That's the most
record it is.
dangerous part.
Huh?
I mean, at least in Louisiana, it's the most dangerous part. But like, it's one of the most dangerous parts in America. You know? In the,
Yeah, from listening to that Lil Wayne record,
That's how
he
good
gives
Lil
you
Wayne
the
is.
directions to actually get. He was like, you get off on this exit, you come around, and you at Holly Grove,
That's how good Lil Wayne is, man. He'll make you want to die behind his music.
bruh. It's 2:00 in the morning and nobody's in the car over 18, and so they come around the fucking exit. It come down, and my homeboy Chris, he said, man, he was like, I was looking. He's like, we saw a bunch of people, and he said the closer we got, he was like, I realized it was like 20, 30 people, and all black. And he was like, he just like told him immediately, turn the fucking car around right now, like let's get the fuck out of here. Like we saw enough, you know what I'm saying?
That's
But I love
that's
New
the Holly
Orleans.
Grove Army.
Yeah, yeah, was gonna find it. We gonna find out that night, man. But I love New Orleans, bro. Like the food, one of my favorite places to eat is Melba's.
I've never been there.
Yeah, it's right there. Oh no, shit, like I know that street, but it ain't too far from the Superdome. Like that Ninth Ward gumbo, that shit is
Bussin'.
But bro, the food in there is a daiquiri shop.
Yeah.
They got that LSU, and then they got my favorite one. My favorite one to get is the LSU daiquiri. That shit.
There were kids that were like raised on Pop-Tarts. And like my parents like made me eat like cereal for breakfast, but like remember other kids were like able to get Pop-Tarts on their way to school, and I just was always jealous of them. And there were also kids in high school that like their parents would get them daiquiris. And like those are the same Pop-Tart kids, you know, and like I just had to pull up to the function with the water and a prayer.
Right.
You know.
Right. Them daiquiris, man. Daiquiris down there will put you on your ass. Like a straight up 20-ounce daiquiri is all you need. You feel me? All you need. But I done got it, bro. I done had some times in Louisiana. You know where La Plaza at?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, bro, I used to hang out there a little bit too much. And I got arrested down there one night, like off in the projects. So I'm in the holding cell. I'm talking to everybody. And
out comes Boosie. No, I'm joking.
No, but the funny thing was like I was on the X pill that night.
Oh my god!
And so like they didn't search me too good because I still had one in my pocket. So the first thing
were you worried whenever they were searching you, like they might find?
I mean, shit, I'm already bam. Fuck, it's just another charge. I mean, that's how I was thinking at the time.
Wow.
You know when you're on drugs, you out your fucking mind. You ain't thinking right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when I first walked in the cell, like it was a little short dude with dreads. I'm like, bro, is that Wayne? Like for some reason in my mind I just thought this. Then I was like, bro, snap out of reality. I mean, snap back in reality. That's not Lil Wayne. He just looked like that look down there
right.
with the dreads and just how they look. I was like, this motherfucker look just like Wayne. So it's only me and him up when we get in the holding cell. Everybody's sleeping now, and he just started. He like out of nowhere. He was like, "You wide open, ain't you?" And I was like,
"What the?"
I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Bro, the way your jaw moves." He was like, "I know you on one."
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "Bro, I know you on a beam." So I was like, "Man, speaking of which, I got another one. I'm finna go on top." He said, "Don't move too fast." Like he was like, the camera's watching. So I had to sneak that bitch out of my pocket.
And you still popped it?
Still popped it.
In jail?
In jail. I wasn't planning on
Gangster.
going no, bro. I wasn't planning on going to sleep. I'm from out of town, from Mobile, Alabama. Like, I'm in that bitch with a polo shirt on, buttoned up all the way up, like
Yeah, you
looking totally like I ain't even from around there.
right.
You know
Well,
what I'm
looking like
saying?
you're actually wide open.
Yeah,
yeah.
like, bro. And so we that
Wide
morning.
open to receive some balls, bro.
So what?
Balls. Yeah, that's just like the jail reference, you know. It's like, you know.
What?
Never mind.
You see some balls? What?
No, I'm saying like in jail, like that's like always like associated with going to jail. Like when you said wide open, I thought it was like a gay reference.
No, hell no. He was
Right.
just like, you know, 'cause my eyes, bro. I'm on a beam. I'm
Right.
You know,
Bugging.
I'm wired up. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So he's like, bro, you wired up, and I'm
Right.
like, yeah, like
Right.
tore the fuck up, man. But anyway, when I woke up, bro, I mean, not when I woke up, when these other motherfuckers woke up, like I'm sitting there, and they like, where you from? I'm like, from Alabama, whatever. We were talking, and like, the fuck you got locked up for? So I told them where it's at. Everybody in that bitch was like, why the fuck was you over there? Like, don't nobody go over there. I'm like, man, I was going to visit my people. They like, man,
Nobody's people's over there.
nobody's bitch. Like, you in the fucking worst part of the goddamn city. I'm like, well, I ain't know that.
That's funny, man. Or so the jail people were cool.
Yeah, man. It
Yeah.
was chill. It was chill.
That's
It was
good.
chill. You know what I'm saying? One dude said some slick shit in there. And
Like what?
because just I can't even too much remember. That motherfucker was detoxing off fucking drugs and shit like that. And a bunch of people were cracking jokes. And I remember I cracked a joke. And he said some like, I'll whoop your ass or some shit like that. And I'm thinking in my mind, fuck, I'm finna get in a fucking fight in this bitch. But then, to my surprise, the people that knew my people was like, man, we'll beat your ass in here. They took up for me. I was like, yeah, that's right, bro. I got backup in this bitch, bro. Like, my chest was, like, I'm already on the beam, but I'm like, my chest was wide up. I'm like, bro, I'm big dog in this bitch now. You feel me?
Hey, bro.
The whole time I'm like,
Climb the ladder.
what the fuck is taking these motherfuckers so long to bail me out? Like,
Yeah.
Bitch,
Yeah.
come get me.
Yeah.
I'm locked up in a whole nother state. I'm 2 states over from home.
Right.
Come get your boy.
Right. That $500 saved me from a lot more than just a few more hours.
Boy,
Yeah.
look at him.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on, Vecci.
For sure, man.
Best of luck to you with Big Cuz TV, and y'all tap in.
Yeah, man. I'm get you on my platform, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. And your artist. I mean, you're an artist too.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And you doing this too, man. So,
Trying.
yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for sure.